All right, ladies and gentlemen, of course, thank you very much. Welcome to another episode of the one and only Victorious Ones podcast. Of course, as I say, the place where gaming meets comics, meets sports, as well as movies and inspiration. And of course, my name is King Von Jr. And of course, you can follow me on the social media, on all different social media platforms, on Twitter at 301 King Von Jr. Of course, you can also follow the show's Twitter page at Victory Pod One. You can follow me on Instagram at Mr. King Von Jr. You can also follow the show's Instagram page at Victorious Ones Podcast. And of course, I'm the social media producer for the Unpopular Reviews Wrestling Show Perfect Plex Talk Radio on Mondays at 6, hosted by Mike Knox. And so of course, before I go any further, I want to give a birthday shout out. Of course, happy birthday to Mimi from Black Wrestling. You know what I mean? I definitely want to get that out the way. And, of course, the main topic I want to talk about eventually is, of course, her favorite faction, the Bloodline, is, pretty much as far as that's concerned. But, also I definitely wanted to, of course, this past week, hip hop celebrated 50 years. So, of course, I want to give a happy 50th birthday shout out to hip hop. And so, it was another conversation I kind of, wanted to get into, a little bit, I guess, separate from this. But also, like I said, also as far as that's concerned, like I said, of course, happy 50th birthday to hip hop and all the pioneers that have paved the way. Of course, the legends of the past, paving the way for the legends of the present and future to come. You know what I mean? So like I said, half a century, 50 long years. That's a miracle. You know what I mean? So, like I said, many, many more to come. And, so of course, as far as that, and also, you know what I mean? Also like, just like I said, when it comes to the weekend wrestling, as far as SmackDown, as far as, as far as Raw, NXT, and by the way, over the weekend, I got a chance to see the movie Oppenheimer. Hence, that's why I had the title name. Pretty much in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, if you will. You know what I mean? So as far as that, like I said, it was a phenomenal movie. It was an amazing movie, and like I said, just to see the finer workings and details of, sorry about that, of what went on behind the scenes of that, and just like I said, it was brilliant cinematography. It was cinema. It was an absolute masterpiece. So like I said, I was definitely thrilled to see it. You know what I mean? So of course, of course, I want to talk about Trish versus Lita, as well as Mello versus Wes Lee. When it came to NXT, and also another thing I wanted to briefly give a brief recap in regards to this week's episode of Winning Time. And so of course this is this is the time where, let's just say, as far as like Magic and Pat Riley, of course starting to plot and strategize for when it's time for them to take over, when it as far as the Lakers are concerned. And so of course we just saw the playoffs for the 1981 season. So the next season is going to be, the next episode is where things really start to heat up, and we really start seeing things really kicking full gear. Like seeing overall, like I said, I was very much impressed. Like seeing with this week's episode, Winning Time, and and of course, like I said, I'm just getting some of the non wrestling news, if you will, out of the way first before we get to the main topics. And of course, definitely, and a big thing I really want to get off, big pause, like I said, big issue I really want to get off my chest was in regards to this past weekend. Of course, thanks to those who enjoy my my WWE 2K23. Of course, a screenshot, if you will. Like I said, as far as that's concerned, how the New Day, gave the beat down to a certain, former Real American, if you will, Mr. The McDonald's man, as I like to call him, Toxic Terry. And, of course, we all know who he is. And I'm definitely going to address that pretty soon. So like I said, as far as that, when it comes to Jey Uso's exit You know what I mean? So like that was like it's a huge that was a huge topic I wanted to get into. Like I said, in regards to this, the way even more layers are being added. If anybody can hear me, the way that there are even more layers that have been added to this bloodline storyline, and just like I said, it just continues to like I see to escalate even more. And there are people that are criticizing, saying they're running out of ideas or whatever, things like that. But now at this point, like I said, more than ever, it's a story of Cain and Abel. And I like how how Jimmy was saying that that he was trying to save Jay and protect them from from becoming like Roman and just being egotistical and all this other stuff like that. So Jimmy felt as though cheating Jay out of the championship would be a way of saving him. Like trying to save somebody by getting them to lose, which is to me has always been absolutely backwards. You know what I mean? Like that. It's like zero logic to that, other than the fact that other than the fact that you're just a bona fide hater. That's the only way, only thing that makes sense to me. And also like even though it made no sense at all. But like I say, just the fact that like I said, just the fact that we slow down, what I mean, like we slow down, like I said, just the fact that Jimmy is straight up Cain, he's straight up Cain is a Cain, Judas, a backstabber, and of course, I like how Jay returned. Of course, Jay returned the favor. Like I said, and just as it looked like they were about to reunite and give each other a hug, Jay nails him with a super kick out like and so he was out of the bloodline, out of WWE. Pretty much deuces, peace out, and so I was like, okay, again. And of course, now the speculation more than ever, like saying people are alleging that he's going to go to another promotion such as all EBT, excuse me, all elite wrestling. Like I said, misspoke. Not really. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry. They were talking about him going to AEW and everything like that. Just letting you know that Joshua Fatu, aka Jey Uso, is not going to AEW. That's not going to happen. And I like how WWE is going all the way with this kayfabe thing by even moving Jay by even moving Jay to the alumni section of WWE. I was like, okay, yeah, this is like I said, I like the way they're playing into this more and more. To me, like seeing more and more as time goes on. And so, like I said, and the thing about it is that I'm thinking this is going to lead into more of a repackaging. And especially as the time draws even further. Like I said, time draws closer to the WrestleMania. Like as we get closer to WrestleMania. So like I said, so for him to, like I said, for Jay to take this time off, like I said, this perfect timing. And so I'm curious as to how the Usos will be repackaged, as solo, like I said, pun intended, no pun intended, but like I said, as singles wrestlers. And so, like like I said, I'm curious as to what kind of theme music they're going to have, what their gear is going to look like, things like that. And so, so like I said, that's always been, for me, that's always been a huge curiosity for me. And it's just how it's going to turn out. So, and because of the fact that it's inevitable for it to happen, as we all know, like seeing the eventual, Jay versus Jimmy, brother versus brother match, like seeing match take place. It just happened that in 2024 is going to be 30 years ever since Bret Hart versus Owen Hart at WrestleMania 10. So it's very fitting that 30 years later we end up having Jay versus Jimmy Uso. You know what I mean? So like I said, I like how, like I said, I like how they're constantly, like I said, more and more layers, like I said, are being added to this, and so you know what I mean? So and also, like so also on SmackDown on Friday, I definitely want to backtrack to the beginning of the show. Was course, was when Charlotte had a match with Asuka, and I mean, of course, we saw an interference from Damage Control. You know what I mean? So of course, so as far as that's concerned, but eventually we know that when it comes to Damage Control, the foundation is definitely crumbling. Like when like I said, the foundation for that group is definitely crumbling, and so I look forward to seeing how those things are going to play out in terms of, like I said, Asuka, Charlotte, Bianca, things like that, and so on. I'm looking forward to seeing, potentially, like I said, Bianca versus Charlotte have their own story going on, have their own feud and everything else like that, because a feud like that is certainly worthy of, like I said, of a WrestleMania, especially, and also I wanted to, of course, especially, we're going to talk even more about more so when it comes to women's wrestling. Speaking of Asuka, shout out to her for the way that she stood up for herself, and when it came to this, of course, for those that don't know, Asuka, that came out with an article, and of course, stood up for herself and spoke out about, just unfair treatment and just the disrespect that she faced when she was in Stardom, and how apparently that they apparently Stardom was blacklisted her and things like that, and so and like I say, with the way that Asuka has stood 10 toes down, like I said, it's just in regards to her integrity, in regards to, so, just to stick up for herself, as as well as looking out for other women in wrestling, especially when it comes to Japanese wrestling, and how Asuka is a pioneer. That not for her, if not, I guess I'm going off to a tangent, but but the thing is, I don't, one of the things I definitely want to talk about, like I said, as I think about it more and more, like saying that, just the courage that Asuka has to be able to stand up, and speak out about her, about her previous experiences, like when it came to stardom, and all those different type of issues, and so and the thing about it is that, of course, Asuka, is seen as an even bigger legend than she's ever been seen before. And like I said, and the thing about it is that it's just that, like I said, I like how Asuka went from making a name for herself and like I said, as a legend in Japan, to eventually seeing that legend grow even more in WWE. You know what I mean? So she has an incredible case. Like I said, when it comes to being in a conversation of the GOAT women's wrestlers of all time. You know what I mean? So like I said, salute to her for standing her ground and just standing 10 toes deep. You know what I mean? And not, like I said, and not letting toxic masculinity and all that type of stuff bring her down and everything, and whatnot. So, of course, salute to a wrestling queen. Of course, salute to Queen Asuka. So of course, like I said, here at the Victorious Ones podcast, we absolutely, wholeheartedly, like I said, fully support Asuka. We fully support women's wrestling in general. I say, we fully support the growth and the progress and the voices of women's wrestling in general. So, like I said, of course, like I said, kudos to Asuka for taking the stand that she took. And also, speaking of women's wrestling as well, Trish and Trish and Becky finally had their match on Raw. It was great, especially when they took the match into the crowd. And so of course, like I said, the thing about it was that the match to me, was very well executed, very well, like I said, very well played out, and it was a great way for them to make up for not being on SummerSlam. And the thing is, even regardless of the way the finish turned out with Zoe Stark, but like I said, the match of itself, to me, did not disappoint. Unfortunately, um, you know, I guess the WWE didn't find enough time, or Trish wasn't cleared yet, or whatever the case may be. But it's like either way, the thing is they finally, like we saw, like I said, the fact that they were finally able to finally able to have that match, and for many of us, it was certainly a dream match in itself. And so, like I say, like I said, as far as that, um, I like. Sorry about that. So like I said, so as far as that, like I said, more than anything, um, I thoroughly, like I said, more than anything, I thoroughly enjoyed the match in itself. And so, like I said, I'm glad that they were, like I said, I'm glad that they were able to, like, pretty much scratch that off the list as far as I'm concerned. And so as far as that, and also when it comes to NXT this week, of course, now we're gearing up. Like, sorry, but of course, like I said, I guess I'm reading some of the comments, at least some of the tweets. Sorry about that, but like I said, the thing about it is that when it came to NXT last night, we're starting to gear up even more for NXT Heatwave, and so so of course, um, Wesley had a match against Dijak. You know what I mean? And so of course now Wesley is the number one contender for Carmelo Hayes' NXT Championship. So now it's set in stone. Now we're going to have Wesley versus Melo, and I feel as though since West lost the NXT North American title, that was inevitable for them to make that transition. So I like that. I like how NXT made that turn, made that transition for him to move on to even bigger and better things. And so the thing is, I figured that was going to happen. Like I said, to me, I felt like the moment West lost the North American title, then there was no other way for him to go but up. So of course now he's been promoted to the main event, and and the thing is, it was only inevitable, excuse me, because of the fact that him and Melo, to me, are the top two stars as far as I'm concerned when it comes to NXT. And the thing about it is that I even said this before in my interview with Dr. D. I feel as though um, in NXT Wesley is Bret Hart, and obviously Carmelo Hayes is Shawn Michaels. When you look at their personality traits, you know, when you look at just like I said, just the type of chemistry that they have, and um, so of course when it comes to Heatwave, I am absolutely excited. Like I said, like the thing about it is I cannot wait for to see this match happen, and like I said, the fact that that's officially confirmed, and I know that like I said, that they're absolutely going to tear the house down, and like I said, and pretty much like just supersede expectations, and so of course like I said, that was what I liked when it came to NXT this week. And so of course, for me, like I said, that's so those some of my main points. Sorry about that. Like I said, at least for me, those some of my main points when it came to the week of wrestling. And of course, I will hope that I didn't make things sound like hope I'm not making it sound like I'm rushing everything so far. But and also let me backtrack to Raw. Shout out to Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods for coming out with those chairs. You know what I mean? So of course, this like I said, of course this video still has plenty of juice left in it when it comes to meme material. And so who better to bring those chairs out in WWE than the New Day themselves? And of course, because of that, the Kofi and Xavier came out with those chairs, and a lot of people were saying that Xavier Woods looks like Ed from Good Burger, Kel Mitchell's character. Welcome to Good Burger home, and Good Burger can't take your order. And so like I said, the thing about when I saw Xavier with those dreads out, those braids, I was like, just like, I thought that was hilarious. But of course, when it comes to Kofi in the chair, the funny thing about it is that on Friday, was not only hip hop's 50th birthday, but also the 70th birthday of of course the man, the racist formerly known as Hulk Hogan, what we call him Toxic Terry over here, the McDonald's man. So I was like, you know what? This whole chair thing still um, has a lot of life in it. So there's still plenty of material to make names out of it and things like that. And especially considering the fact that, that Hogan's birthday was on Friday, so think about it, of course, many people were still roasting him for his birthday. So the thing is, of course, since WWE announced that was his birthday, made him an easy target. Made him an easy target for memes on Twitter. What I mean, like to get roasted on Twitter and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? Let me join in. Let me go in there, chime in, and add my input to this annual Hogan roast, if you will. And so of course, what I did, um, as I typically like to do, I go to, I like to air out, air out the way that I feel in a video game. So what I did was that Saturday morning, I went on WWE 2K23. I did a 3-on-1 handicap match with the New Day versus Hogan, as I've done before. And in fact, last year 2K22, and New Day beat Hogan on Juneteenth. Nobody made a big deal about it. Made a big deal about it, right? No big deal. Had New Day beat Hogan on 2K22, no big deal whatsoever. But Saturday, this time, not only do I have New Day beat up Hogan, but I had, like I said, not only do I have New Day beat up Hogan, but I have Kofi grab a chair and nail Hogan over the head with it and stand over top of him. So I took a screenshot of Kofi standing over top of Hogan with the chair, And so I was like, you know what? Hey, I think it's funny. So, so everybody's still making memes. I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and jump in and, of course, do my own thing, right? So, of course, I thought it was funny. And a lot of people thought it was funny. Like I said, wherever I put on social media, like I said, whether it's Twitter, IG, Facebook pages, such as Jobbers here and stuff like that. So, most people enjoyed it. Then there were those select few, who are still blinded by that red and yellow, and like I said, and will still, like I said, and will still defend this guy. Will still defend this dude, and turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to his blatant racism. You know what I mean? And so I was like, I was like, you know what? Two and two, like I said, 2 plus 2 go together. Share memes is it's still great, and I was like, you know what? Who better to use this against Hogan with than the New Day, especially considering it was Hogan's birthday over the weekend and stuff like that. I was like, all right, great, perfect timing. I figured it was perfect timing. But like I said, the fact that shout out to Mike Knox on Monday for sticking up for me, and like I say, and just constantly having my back, constantly supporting me. That meant the world to hear that from him. But of course, this is where I come in. It's amazing how, like I said, once again, how people are still blinded and they're still delusional to Hogan's lies and racism, especially. And it's just how me playing a video game got people upset. How me playing a video game and taking a screenshot of it because I thought it was funny. How people got in their feelings. How they got sensitive. How hit dogs holler. You know what I mean? And so and how they just got so uptight. How they got so in their feelings. How they got so sensitive and just absolutely lost their minds over. You know what I mean? It was ridiculous with the way that they were taking me through the ringer. You know what I mean? And so it's and the thing about it is it's just like, of course, no matter what, I still stand 10 toes down with the way that I believe with what I believe about Hogan. I still stand 10 toes down. My thing about it is this, you know, let's just cut to the chase. It is never, ever, 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 ever. And I'm going to make this disclaimer. It's never okay for a white person, no matter who they are, whether it's Hulk Hogan, it doesn't matter, for you to say the N-word, you know. And the thing about it is that, you know, on one end, um, I see. The thing is, I see where Mike was coming from. Mike was coming from about the fact that Hogan said it, you know, said in the privacy of his home, and a lot of people say weird, you know, crazy stuff in the privacy of their home, or whatever. Other than the fact that it was recorded, okay. And the thing, and another point that Mike was making was the fact that, like, you know, the thing that made it worse um, was the fact that Hogan made excuses for it. So that's what things really, really took a turn for the worse. You know, was like I said, was the way that Hogan made excuses for it, with the way that, you know, that he, you know, pretty much like virtually sort of like doubled down on it, you know, and also, and to me, I think that was the thing that you know that really like um, rubbed so many people the wrong way, in the sense that it wasn't a complete apology. Anytime you say "but," anytime you start making excuses and lies, saying that was a word that you know, that was a word that you grew up around. That was a word that you greeted people with, white, black, whatever. You know, it's free to say that, you know, that was a regular term that you use to greet each other. No, it was not. No, it was not. You know, the fact that you make excuses for, to lie and say that you walk across the street and say that word to somebody. I'm like, nah, those are fighting words then, and it's a fighting word now, you know. And so I still stand on that. It's never ever okay to make excuses for any white person, justify any white person to say the N word um, at all whatsoever. You know, that word is a weapon of mass destruction, and like I said, and for people to like I said, you know, and for people to attack me because, you know, um, like, attack me for something I did on a video game that I paid for. You know, like, so, you know, for them to attacking me to do something, you know, because I did a match, um, you know, where I had an all black group beat up Hogan, you know, on a game that I paid for, and I thought it was funny. You know, I thought it was great. I thought it was perfect timing to go along with the memes and everything like that. And you know, what I mean, I would say that it was very well received. You know, except for those who clearly, like who clearly um, cannot hide their racism. You know, and it was very evident. Um, and you know, like saying, it was very evident when I shared that picture in one of the wrestling Facebook groups, and like saying, and certain people in the comment section to be show their true colors, show themselves, and how somebody like Hogan, you know, a topic like him, uh, opens the door for people to show their true colors. It opens the door for people to show their ignorance. It opens up the door to bring the silly out of people. You know, like you know, the fact that I took a screenshot of a video game, you know, where I was just having fun, like seeing when it came to New Day beating up Hogan, it went along with the whole Alabama, Alabama brawl and stuff like that. So, you know what I mean. So as far as that, like I said, it was harmless. It was hilarious. You know what I mean. And I know that there are a lot of people who feel the same way that I do. You know, I know I'm pretty sure that there are many people that would love to go on 2K23 and do the same thing that I did. You know what I mean? And if, in fact, there's even been a video circulating on Twitter where somebody was playing, was it 2K22, and they had all these black wrestlers in the ring beating up Hogan. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, it's, to me at this point, it's no big deal, because of the fact that it's just like, the thing about it is, it's like when it comes to his perception, it's already been ruined, it's already been destroyed. So, I'm not the only one that feels the way that I feel. Like I said, I know there are plenty of people that they want to, they go into 2K23 and do the same thing that I did, and probably instead of using New Day, they may use like Street Profits, Bobby Lashley, or Street Profits and Omos, or Lashley and Omos and Farouk, whatever the case may be, any black wrestler that they can find to beat up Hogan. You know what I mean? And so, and plus, because of the fact that I feel like this, he was big and bad and bold enough to say what he said, and so it's just like, hey, we say stupid stuff like that, you got to come into you. So you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. As far as I'm concerned, and the thing about it is that I've said it once, I said it again. F Hogan, pretty much, and and anybody that loves him, and if you don't like it, hey, that's on you, as far as I'm concerned. And I'll say it like this: I don't want to keep, just keep beating the dead horse. But the thing about it is that, in my estimation, I feel like this. I understand that he's a legend, and I've explained this already. In like I said, on one of the Facebook groups. But the thing about it is that, let me say it like this, so you can actually hear me say it. The thing about it is that I know that he's a legend, and he's been an icon. He's put wrestling on the mainstream map, and yada yada yada. I get it. You know what I mean? So I acknowledge his accomplishments when it comes to championships. As far as like his longest title reign, what he did for WrestleMania and things like that. Of course, that nobody's going to take that away from him. However, I will say this: just because I recognize him as a legend does not mean that I have to roll out the red carpet for him. And so that screenshot of that match that I had on 2K23 is a perfect example of that. Just because you are a legend does not mean that I have to continuously roll out the red carpet for you. You've already shown who you really, really are. So that just goes. So I played that game to show that he's not really sacred. You know what I mean? So anytime you cross that line, you're not sacred. All bets are off at that point. And so, you know what I mean? So like I said, so as far as that, I don't apologize for having a match like that on a game that I paid for. I mean, so for people to come at me like that was ludicrous. For people to come at me like that was ridiculous. And first and foremost, if you're going to come at me for something like that, get your facts straight first. This dude did not go on a podcast and say what he said. He said it in audio of a sex tape. That's when he used that language. Not on, like I said, not on some podcasts. So first and foremost, get your facts straight about that. And and of course, for people who get so uptight, about the fact that in the game I was beating a 7-year-old dude, but never mind. Like I said, never mind that the same 70-year-old dude, is a former multi-time world champion, who said what he said with his entire chest, and with the hard ER as well. Sorry to make this make anybody feel uncomfortable for me talking about it, but it is what it is, So that's why I refer to him as Toxic Terry. That's why I refer to him as the McDonald's man, and so and that's why I ranked him where I ranked him on my 50 greatest wrestlers list. And the fact that time has passed him by. He's no longer the de facto symbol of wrestling of WWE. Uh, the Rock and Stone Cold have long surpassed him. You know, um, I can have a top five without this guy on here, without Toxic Terry on there, and I can live. It's possible to have a top five greatest wrestlers list and not have Toxic Terry on there, and you can still live. You know what I mean? So as far as I'm concerned, my top five, of course, we've already seen it. Stone Cold, The Rock, The Undertaker, Ric Flair, and Shawn Michaels. All in that order. Then I have Cena number 6. I have Bret Hart number 7. Then I have that guy, Toxic Terry number 8. If I wanted to be petty, I could just swap him at number 10 and call it a day. But the thing about it is that it's like I'm unapologetic in the way that I feel. So if people want to get offended by what I did on a video game, I mean, that's on you. I feel like this. The shoe fits wear it. If that's your guy and you get offended to that, I mean, you know what I mean. If that's the case, get upset. With anytime you see somebody put a red X over Hogan's face on a shirt. How about that? You wouldn't say a word about that. I didn't do that. All I did was take my stand on a video game. You know where I stand. So, but like I said, as far as that, like I said, I stand 10 toes deep when it comes to that. I'm not awestruck by Toxic Terry. The red and yellow guy. You know what I mean? And the reason why he wears McDonald's colors is because he's a clown himself. A clown who uses toxic racist language on recordings. And the thing about it is it's like, once again, it's not about throwing away his accomplishments like I did with Voldemort. It's not about throwing away his accomplishments. It's the fact that, I don't feel like I have to be obligated to call him number 1 anymore, or even top 3 anymore. So as far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm concerned, take it or leave it, however you want to. So I guess it's my tirade right now, but of course, on a lighter note, in other news, like I said, of course, I came out with, of course, my official top 10. Excuse me, let me slow down. But like I said, I came up with my official top 10 greatest SummerSlam legends of all time. And of course, like last week's episode, I was pretty much just rushing through it. But of course, I've officially taken time to officially finalize my top 10 SummerSlam legends list. At number 10 is John Cena. Number 9 is Edge. Number 8, Roman Reigns. Number 7, The Rock. Number 6, Shawn Michaels. Number 5, Randy Orton. Number 4, Game Triple H. Actually, you know what? Let me start with number 10, John Cena. I got one of the nicknames now. Number 9, the Radar Superstar Edge. Number 8, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. Number 7, the People's Champion, the Great One, The Rock. Number 6, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Number 5, the Legend Killer, Randy Orton. Number 4, the Game Triple H. Number 3, Phenom himself, The Undertaker. Number 2, the Beast himself, Brock Lesnar. And number 1, the best there is, the best there was, the best there will be when it comes to SummerSlam, Bret the Hitman Hart. So those are my top 10 greatest SummerSlam legends of SummerSlam legends of all time. And so like I said, so as far as that, I just want to say that like I say, it's for me, it's important to take stands with to take stands when necessary. So I took my stand, in terms of expressing myself, at least expressing how I feel through video game form, through sports entertainment form. Last time I checked, wrestling is supposed to be about entertainment. So I did what I did out of entertainment value. And you know what I mean. And funny and of course, on a lighter note, the funny thing about it was the fact that on the funny thing about this whole thing is that in this past episode of Raw on Monday, guess what you see? Kofi and Xavier coming out with a chair. And that was significant to me because who knows? Like I said, maybe somewhere along the line, Kofi saw the screenshot from the game. Other than the fact that this meme is all over the place, I'm not going to take full credit for it. But it just so happened that that they used New Day on Saturday and had Kofi use, and during the match, I had Kofi use a chair. And then fast forward 48 hours later on Raw, Kofi comes out with a chair. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I think that's I think it's just straight out hilarious. I think it's like I said, I think it's straight out hilarious. I feel as though it's almost like some sort of vindication for me. It's justification, and so like I said, I feel justified what I did, and just to see it, see a miracle like that. To take place on Monday, I thought it was great. You know what I mean? So I thought it was incredible. You know what I mean? So as far as I'm concerned, I did not take back what I did, and so I feel as though like I said, I'm not going to be someone who brags, but I'm gonna go ahead and just pat myself on the back for this one. I feel as though at the end of the day, I got the last laugh. You know what I mean? So of course, like I said, for people who got angry and butthurt and felt some type of way about that screenshot, too freaking bad. You know what I mean? And so of course, of course, I'm going to continuously defend the New Day. In my estimation, it's the greatest faction of all time. And of course, I wish nothing but the best for Big E. My thoughts and prayers out for him, especially when it came to that diagnosis as far as the doctors saying, advising him not to get back into the ring. So I look forward to seeing him in a different role, hopefully in commentary. But I know for sure that the New Day are definitely going to go to the Hall of Fame, the first ballot, guaranteed Hall of Famers. You know what I mean? So and also like the funny thing about it is that like lately I've been on this project about like wrestlers and comic books and stuff like that. The New Day are basically their own characters, pretty much. But and of course, I think I said it before, but for me, for the sake of doing this comparison, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Kofi is Static Shock, Big E is Cyborg, and Xavier Woods is Beast Boy. So there you go. You know what I mean? So like I said, New Day are their own characters. They're their own superheroes. They are, some of the ultimate role models. You know what I mean? And of course, I've spoken highly of New Day multiple times on this podcast. In fact, the New Day episode, I've done top 10 greatest factions. I've had them in number one. Top 10 greatest tag teams. I've had them in number one. I've as far as that, and the thing is, I've even have had guests on my podcast, or whatever, talk about New Day and just how great they are and what they mean to factions, what they mean to tag teams, what they mean to black wrestling, and just really just wrestling in general as a whole. You know what I mean? Their imprint speaks for itself. No matter I feel as this whatever direction that they decide to take, I fully support them 1,000%. You know what I mean? Like I said, they have become iconic in their own way, and so of course this is my moment to kind of give the other New Day their flowers. And just so happened, just so happened that they're the ones that I used in my 2K23 roast of Hogan. And I feel like there's nobody better in my estimation to roast them in a video game than the New Day themselves. And so as far as that, so like I said, so like I said, so as far as that, like I said, like the New Day are legends, the New Day are icons. Um, they they are absolutely transcendent figures when it comes to wrestling. As far as that crossover appeal, like I said, when it comes to Xavier Woods, up, up, down, down. Like I said, when it comes to the numbers that they move when it came to merchandise. You know what I mean? And of course, I look forward to the very day that they take their rightful place in the Hall of Fame. And of course, on another note, of course, speaking of Hall of Fame, shout out to the Basketball Hall of Fame class of 2023. Like, so, just want to give congratulations to all of them. That they took their place to the Hall of Fame. Yes. So as far as like I say, congratulations to them. And on another note, also I want to say that now WrestleMania tickets are gonna go on sale on Friday. So um, it's gonna be very interesting. Gonna be very intriguing. So of course, WrestleMania Philly is definitely uh, within my plans. Um, Look forward to it. The 40th anniversary of WrestleMania in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, and I look forward, like I said, to seeing many more of you over there, especially unpopular view, especially Mike Knox and many others. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So as far as that, um, you know, as far as my stand, um, when it comes to HH, I never back down from that stand. You know what I mean? So all right, yeah. So but of course, but of course, another thing want to talk about as well. Um, Cheap plug also. Let me go through this out of the way. Um, just a reminder, you still pick up the podcast shirt. The latest shirt that I have is the Romans Empire shirt. That I wore during SummerSlam weekend. And of course, Roman Reigns paying homage to that Wolverine #1 cover. You know what I mean? So as far as that, like I see, you get your shirts and any other merchandise on victoriousones.bigcartel.com. Once again, that is www.victoriousones.bigcartel.com. Get a shirt, I get lost, and my man Mike Knox would say. And you know what I mean. So as far as that, you know what I mean? Like I said, so as far as that, um, I look forward to, and of course, speaking of Roman, like I said, I look forward to seeing more of what they're gonna do with the bloodline, and of course, apparently, like they're not gonna be in action as much, especially going to at least until going to Survivor Series, and we start to kick things up going into the WrestleMania season, and look forward to seeing how things are going to take place with that, and of course how Cody's going to take even more steps into supposedly finishing his story, and like I said, just to see how more of these stories start to unravel, and to see the unraveling of the Judgment Day, like right before our very eyes. And you know what I mean. So like I said, so as far as that, and also on another programming note, I will be a special guest on Backstage Brawl on Saturday, August 26th. So, and of course, a shout out to Eric and Randy. And of course, I look forward to the dialogue that the dialogue that we're definitely going to have when it comes to wrestling and comic books. As you all know, that I've definitely been on a mission, been on this project when it comes to wrestling and comics, and just merging those together, because of the fact that that's a natural combination. Like I said, they fit together. Um, like I said, fit together perfectly like a hand and glove. As much as wrestling and hip hop go hand in hand, especially the 50th anniversary. Of course, shout out to Black Wrestling. Like I said, for those amazing wrestling and hip hop comparisons. But I feel as though, and the thing is, I'm definitely going to talk about more of this when it comes to the episode of Backstage Brawl, as though wrestling and comics go hand in hand just as much, because just because of the characters, the personalities, the bright colors, the storylines, the action in and of itself. Like I say, just so much, like so much more. Like I say, really just so many different layers to it. So of course, like I said, so of course, as far as that, sorry for starting to seem like it's like almost all over the place, but these are some of the thoughts I really want to get off my chest, and like I said, I look forward to seeing more out of main event Jey Uso. Um, as they say, he's quote unquote out, but of course, we already know that they're squeezing more and more um, juice out of this orange, if you will, when it comes to the bloodline. You know what I mean? And so of course, when it comes to any faction post New Day, if you will, the bloodline, like I said, are definitely the best faction we've had in this post New Day era, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, it's not completely post New Day, but I'm just saying in terms of after, you know what I mean? Like pretty much like a New Day without Biggie, whatever. But like I said, just when it comes to current factions, um, the bloodline, the bloodline storyline has definitely been the best story that we've seen in years when it comes to wrestling. In years, you know, and like so pretty much like pretty much as far as like this episode, as far as my rundown, um, that's just about it. And I look forward to seeing. Um, I know that next week is going to be going to be the first episode of the Ahsoka series, and so so as far as that, I definitely want to see if I could squeeze enough time in to give a brief rundown of that. Just as I've been given a brief rundown of Winning Time, along with other news and other things I want to talk about as well. So thank you very much for tuning in. And like I said, I look forward to many, many more episodes to come. Thank you very much, and have a great night.